disliked former teachers, or people who he had given nicknames to, like Pork Pie, the middle-aged man in the pork pie hat who was a constant fixture in the pub we frequented, boring anyone who'd listen about the supermarket where he worked. Not ready for sleep, I lay on the sofa and flicked through the TV channels. On BBC Two, a grainy drama from the 70s was beginning. What I'd chanced upon was an episode of the classic A Ghost Story for Christmas strand, Lawrence Gordon Clark's adaptation of M.R. James's supernatural tale, Lost Hearts. There's a fearful symmetry to this, I've come to learn, because this particular film was first shown on BBC One a little before midnight on Christmas Day 1973, less than a fortnight after I was born. Had I already witnessed it before, as a crying baby? Perhaps my mother had happened at that very point to switch on the TV set to try and calm my tears. If she had, I doubt she would have found much respite, because the BBC version is a frightening piece of work. I was to find this out some 21 years later, when the ghost of a razor-nailed boy and his dark-eyed companion appeared on the screen in front of me. Through the white gate at the back of the graveyard, the ground changes abruptly. The approach from the rectory with its aged, ivy-clad trees, replaced by a squat jumble of shrubs and sedge, punctuated by paths that run aimlessly to the water. The lake, as it is called, seems out of place in the West Suffolk countryside, reminding me of one of the shallow, ephemeral coastal lagoons you find in the Camargue. Lifeless trunks point upwards from its greyness like rigor-mortised fingers. The division between land and water is tenuous. There are no banks as such, just a dirty shoreline of mud over which the waves lap, adding to the feature's temporary feel. This is not a giant puddle left behind by a flood or some deliberately drowned world, but a spring-fed mere that has given its name to the neighbouring village. Livermere Lake, the lake where rushes grow, from the Old English, Leformere. I've known about this place for a long time, too, since my brother saw a vagrant black-winged pratincoll here in 1993, a rare hawk-like wading bird. I couldn't join him to see it, which, as a keen bird-watcher, riled me for years, until I finally caught up with one myself on the Norfolk coast, and lent the occasion an enduring mystique in my head. Only later did I become aware of the connection between Great Livermere and M.R. James. Montague Rhodes James, known to his close friends as Monty, was born in Goodnestone, a small Kent village midway between Canterbury and Deal, where his father was then a curate, in August 1862. After 3 years the family moved to Livermere, 6 miles from Bury St Edmunds, where Herbert James took up the rectorship of St Peter's Church, whose gravestones I passed between on my way to the mere. This section is Broadwater, with the narrow, tree-lined southern arm, Ampton Water, snaking off somewhere behind me, obscured by a screen of trees. The rain slants sparsely down as I scan the surface and shore. There are no rare waders today, though a typically noisy pair of black and white oyster-catchers flies past, splitting the silence with their piping. Across the water stands a second church, the now ruined St Peter and St Paul of Little Livermere, derelict since the first half of the 20th century. The tower, according to James in his 1930 work, Suffolk and Norfolk, a preambulation of the 2 counties with notices of their history and their ancient buildings, was heightened so as to be seen from Livermere Hall, itself long gone, demolished as superfluous in 1923. Its owner, Jane Ann Broke, was a relative by marriage of Herbert James, which was how he came to be offered the role of attending to the spiritual needs of the village. A serendipitous move in terms of its influence on young Monty's future ghost stories. Stately homes and their surrounding parkland appear in a number of those tales, reflecting James's upbringing as the son of a well-connected rector and the privileged circles in which he was to circulate during his later career as provost of both Cambridge's King's College and Eton's famous public